In the Credyt docs, you'll find a quick start guide which gets you up and running with Credyt in just a few minutes. We walk through creating your first product, creating a customer, funding the balance, sending usage, and checking the balance, and then opening up the customer portal. To make this really easy to work with and for you to get familiar with the API, we've got a Bruno collection. Bruno is just a nice API client that you can use, so that you don't have to have any developer tools. You can just make those requests directly in the API. But we've had a few requests of how do I actually get set up in the first place using Bruno, and downloading our tutorial Bruno collection. So I wanted to work through just that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to head over to usebruno.com, and you can download the API client. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to go through that process here, but it's a case of clicking download and then running the installer on your machine. Once you have that installed, you then want to go ahead and download Credyt's Bruno collection. You can do that directly from the GitHub site for Learn Credyt, but we also have some links in the tutorial itself on our doc site. There is a button here to fetch in Bruno. And what that's going to do is to launch the Bruno app and essentially synchronize our Bruno collection to your machine. Now, there is a caveat to this, that this works great if you're a developer and you've already got Git installed, which is a tool we use for source control, and that way you can keep the Bruno collection in sync. If you're not a developer and you don't want to have to go through this process of setting up Git and probably a whole bunch of things that you don't normally use, then you can just download a zip file of this collection. So let's go through that process, and you'll be able to find that link on the Credyt doc. Click this link to download the collection from GitHub. It's going to download a zip file, and then I'm just going to extract that zip file here, and here we have our Bruno collection. Now the next thing we want to do is open up Bruno, and we're just going to open up that collection we've just downloaded. So I'm going to go into my downloads. This is the folder we just downloaded. Go to Bruno, select the Credyt API and click open. And you'll see that we now have the collection open in Bruno, and we have a bunch of folders in here which align with the structure of the docs. So generally, if you see examples in the documentation on our docs site, you'll find the corresponding requests here in the Credyt API. So there's always an example to get you going. Now, before we can actually start making any requests to the API, we need to obtain our API keys and configure Bruno. So I'm going to do that. I've logged into the Credyt app at app.credyt.ai. If you haven't done that, you need to sign up, register, provide a few details, and you'll get access to this portal. You can then go to the developers section, and you'll be able to get your API key. So I'm going to take this, copy this primary API key here, and I'm going to switch back to Bruno. And the next thing I want to do, I can click on any request here because I want to get my environments up. And these are the environments that we are going to run these requests against. I'm going to configure my test collection since I'm in test mode. That's the default mode when you first sign up, and generally that's where you want to be if you are testing Credyt for the first time. I'm going to click configure. Don't worry about all the things that are in here already. This is just because I've already run this collection before. You'll find an entry for Credyt API key, and all you want to do there is paste in the value that you have for that you just copied from the portal. You can then come back into Bruno after making sure you've saved that change. And now you made that change, we can choose the right environment by selecting the environments drop down. Make sure test is selected, and you can then start working through the quick start. To make sure everything's working, I'm just going to actually hit our customers API to list all my customers. I'm going to send this request, and here we go. I can see that I'm able to connect with the Credyt API, authenticate, and hit the necessary endpoints. So that should be enough to get you going, and from this point you can follow along in the future videos where we get you up and running for the first time in the quick start, and then we'll start diving into some of the more advanced features at a deeper level within Credyt.